Each year in the United States, thousands of major crimes go unsolved. When the case has gone cold and police have nowhere to turn, they seek assistance from the public. This is a program dedicated to solving these cases. This is Crime Stoppers Case Files.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for another Northeast Ohio edition of Crime Stoppers Case Files. I'm Bob Frantz. There are over 1,400 Crime Stoppers organizations operating around the world. These organizations empower citizens like you to become directly and anonymously involved in fighting crime in our communities. Each week on this television program, we'll share facts with you from unsolved cases, and you'll have the opportunity to submit information that may help investigators, possibly earning yourself a cash reward without ever having to give your name. Let's get to work. On May 2nd, 2004, 25-year-old Kirsten Prescott was found strangled on property adjacent to Zone Recreation Center. This young lady was actually strangled with her own clothing. Her killer has never been caught, but we're hoping to change that right now. Here's the story.
She was my firstborn, November 17th. She was born, and she was born down in Tennessee. Her dad was in the military, and she was the first of three. Next was her sister, Priscilla, and then her brother, David.
She was very protective. She always wanted to be around family and be with family or be with people in general.
Me and my sister, we were really close. She always tried to include me into everything. Always wanted to be with me. Always wanted to make sure I was all right.
She moved a lot, but she still liked to keep in touch and have us over her place or have us around her in some way.
If you met her in 15 minutes, you would know everything about her. She trusted everybody.
She would try to give back in the community as much as she possibly could. She used to work for Home Depot, and every Saturday she volunteered and she did their kids' workshop. She helped out with the kids. She ran the workshop.
One of the things that my sister loved to do was work for Habitat for Humanity. Always liked to give back to the community.
She loved her sports. She loved playing clarinet in the band, playing soccer. She was basically a jack of all trades.
Kirsten was very lovable. She was very caring. She would give you basically the shirt off her back if she could. She would do anything to help a person. Didn't matter if she knew him for 10 years or 10 minutes.
She just loved us more than anything, you know? And it was awesome growing up with her.
On May 3rd, 2004, at approximately 5 p.m., our detectives from the homicide unit were called out to 6301 Lorraine Avenue, which is Michael's Zone Recreation Center. Upon our arrival, we in fact did find Kirsten Prescott, a 25-year-old white female, deceased on scene from an apparent strangulation. Through our investigation, we were able to find that the night before, on Sunday, May 2nd, 2004, Kirsten Prescott was at home with her boyfriend and a friend of the boyfriend's. There appears to have been drug use during the day, and at some point, approximately 7 p.m., all three decided they were leaving their residence. Kirsten's boyfriend and his friend at the time left the house and walked north away from the residence, while Kirsten began to walk south towards Lorraine Avenue. Not long after Kirsten left and was last seen walking towards Lorraine Avenue, an employee at a restaurant on Lorraine Avenue observed this taller black male almost shouting at her with a finger in her face. This is the last time that we know she had been seen, and it is our theory that at this point she may have been walked south on West 58th Street from Lorraine, where just over a bridge there's easy access to the back field of Michael's Zone Recreation, where we believe she was walked along the brush line there. After the suspect walked Kirsten to the area where we later found her, he apparently pulled her bra from her body and used it as a ligature around her neck. He forced her to the ground and continued to strangle her from behind with her bra, pulling her side to side, which is evident by blood that we had found on the guardrail that was just to the left of her body.
May 3rd, 2004, at 3:45 in the afternoon, I got a phone call, and he said that she was missing since the night before.
So I was sitting around watching TV. My mom walked through the door, and as she was running upstairs, she said, "Your sister's missing. I have to wake your father up. We gotta go look for her."
We went down to the police station, asked them what they've heard, if they've heard anything, and that's when my daughter, Priscilla, got the phone call that they had found a body down on West 53rd. And we left the police station, and we went straight there, and I knew in my heart that was her out in the field.
Sitting at home for, 5 to 10 hours, however long it was, wondering if your sister was alive. Not knowing was horrible.
I pretty much sat at home with my brother until my parents came home. They were the ones dealing with the police and everything else like that. And I don't remember the exact time, but I know it was later at night. They walked in the door with the priest, and that's how we knew.
We'll be right back with more on the murder of Kirsten Prescott after this.
In 1975, the first Crime Stoppers organization was formed by a detective who believed media attention helped solve cases. Since then, thousands of Crime Stoppers organizations have been formed around the globe with the same mission, encouraging members of the public to stand up against crime. Every 14 minutes, Crime Stoppers help solve a crime somewhere in the world. Get involved.
We now return to the case of the murder of Kirsten Prescott.
On May 3rd, 2004, Kirsten Prescott was found strangled with her own bra at 6301 Lorraine Avenue in an open field area of Michael's Zone Recreation Center. We followed up with interviews on Lorraine Avenue and were able to find a witness that actually observed her approximately 20 minutes after she was last seen by her boyfriend at the corner of West 58th and Lorraine. He positively identified Kirsten by her picture and stated that there was a taller, older black male that appeared to be in her face, he describes, at that corner. This witness did not get a look at the male's face and could not make any identification. Our theory that at this point she may have been walked south on West 58th Street from Lorraine, where just over a bridge there's easy access to the back field of Michael's Zone Recreation, where the unknown suspect used her bra to strangle her while it appears she was in a seated position from behind. It wasn't until the following day at about 5 p.m. when we received a call from a citizen that observed her body at Michael's Zone Recreation.
What if I could have kept her away from that area? What if I would have kept her at home?
A really bad anger problem now, because of all this. Hopefully, maybe, if this gets solved, I won't be as angry.
It would mean everything, pretty much. I mean, it's not going to bring her back. Nothing's going to bring her back, but at least it's a little bit of justice. At least it's a little bit of closure.
Solving it and putting somebody behind bars would help tremendously, and it would take away a little bit of the pain. There will always be pain because she's away from us, but we're never going to rest until we know that whoever did this to her is brought to justice.
The one male of interest to us is the person that the restaurant employee saw at approximately 8 p.m. on Sunday, May 2nd, 2004, that was in Kirsten's face and appeared to be somewhat scolding her. He was a black male, was supposed to be older, maybe around 50, about 6'1" in height and medium to thin build. If anybody has any information, please call myself, Detective Sandoval at the Cleveland Police Homicide Unit, or any of the other detectives in the office, or you can call Crime Stoppers and remain anonymous and receive a cash reward.
You heard Kirsten's family say that she was trusting to a fault. Well, it appears Kirsten lost her life because someone took advantage of her good-hearted nature. If you know anything that can help the detectives solve this case, call Crime Stoppers today. The reward for this case is up to $2,000. We'll be right back with more when we return to Crime Stoppers Case Files. On June 18th, 2011, 32-year-old Deshaun Napier was celebrating his birthday at a nightclub on Lee Road when he was shot and killed just outside the club's parking lot. Here's the story.
He was born in Mount Sinai Hospital, and my friends kept calling me, telling me that my family was celebrating because it was a boy.
Son was born June 18th, 1979. Only son that I had.
And everybody was partying. I'm at the hospital with Shawn, and it was just like a bundle of joy.
Oh, my nephew, to me, you know, he was always around me a lot growing up, and the times I had with him, you know, I'm always remembering.
Never had nothing negative to say.
He never really asked for nothing from me, you know. All the life I looked at, I would ask him to do things. He would be right there, and he was always pretty laid back. He wasn't gonna talk too much to you.
He was an A1 student. He excelled in everything. He was an excellent cook. I was looking forward to him moving to Louisville with me because he wanted to go to that chef school at Sullivan. Good person, real good person. Good listener, just straightforward, very laid back, very friendly. Everybody liked him.
A lot of people, you know, would pretty much cling to him for guidance.
He never really asked for nothing from me, you know. All the life I looked at, I would ask him to do things. He would be right there. To me, he was a special nephew.
On June 18, 2011, at approximately 2:30 a.m. in the morning, I received a text from the Cleveland Police radio to respond to Lee Road and Lotus Drive for a male victim of a gunshot wound. Upon arrival, I met with my partner, Detective Jeffrey Sampson, and Sergeant Adrian Candelaria, Homicide Unit Supervisor. During our investigation, it revealed that our victim, Deshaun Napier, had went to the Sarah house to celebrate his birthday, and at about closing time, Napier was outside. He was observed talking to a male standing on the tree lawn, male standing in the street, they're talking, and without provocation, the male pulls out a gun and shoots Napier approximately 8 times. Talking to the witnesses there, both Napier and the suspect were seen inside the club, but were not seen to have made any contact with each other.
First of all, it was his birthday, Deshaun's, and the last time I talked to him was 12, wishing him a happy birthday. And I said something like many more, and I fell off to sleep because I had to work that Saturday. On overtime, my brother called from Texas, said they had been calling me all night, and I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? Calling me this time of night, morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And he said, Shawn's been shot. So I get up out of my bed, and I'm thinking in my mind, what hospital? I'm trying to put some clothes on, and my brother said, Karen. Then he hollered my name, Karen. And I was like, what? Yes. And he said, he hesitated, and he said, he's gone. And I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't even wrap that thought around my mind. He's gone. And I just dropped to the floor.
Crime Stoppers is an international organization dedicated to bringing resolution to unsolved crimes. Members of the public work with police to make the world a safer place. Since 1975, thousands of Crime Stoppers organizations worldwide have helped make over 1 million arrests. Crime Stoppers acts as your advocate, keeping you anonymous and ensuring that your information gets to the right law enforcement agency.
On June 18, 2011, 32-year-old Deshaun Napier was murdered on the tree line outside the Syrah House parking lot. The Syrah House is a mid-20s to late 30s club, so it's a more younger club. Music, dancing, and on this night, again, he actually dies on his birthday. He went there to celebrate his birthday. He's in the club, no reports of any confrontation with anyone. At the time that this happened, the club was letting out, it was closing, so everyone inside was either going to their cars or leaving the club. The witnesses that we've talked to states that Napier standing on the tree line, the suspect is standing 3 feet away in the street. The conversation is not loud enough to be heard, but it is a conversation where you can tell that they're talking with each other. There's no argument, no one raising their voice, and our suspect suddenly pulls out a gun, shoots the victim. He fell right on the spot. In fact, there were people yelling, "He's gone, he's dead." As our understanding, the pattern of shell casings were from the tree line to the street, so he might have moved in or he might have moved back. The suspect is described as a black male, approximately 5'9", 5'11", 180 pounds, medium complexion, wearing a red and white striped shirt. There's another male who had a dark hoodie on, who was seen running away from the scene and holding his pants as if he might have held a gun.
And on my way to Cleveland, the sun was rising. And I never paid no attention to that before, and it was like, wow, I know what a sunset looks like, but a sunrise, my son won't see another one of those. That was my thought. My only son, his father's only son, the only grandson on both sides, the only brother on both sides, stopped the bloodline of the Napiers, took everything from me.
It's a situation that each day that go by, it eats at me. You lose your life on your birthday. I mean, what's the chances of that ever happening? You know, the same day you were born is the same day you die. It's unbelievable.
What we're asking for is the people to come forward. Someone, we believe, seen this male in the red and white striped shirt. They may not have seen the shooting, but they may know this person, saw him in the club, knows at least a first name for him. And that's what we're looking for. We're also looking for the male that was believed to be running away in the dark hooded sweatshirt to come forward, and maybe he saw something and he took off running away from it. And we're asking anyone with any information in relationship to this crime to call myself, Detective Jamal Ansari, at the Cleveland Police Homicide Unit, or you can call Crime Stoppers. You don't have to give your name, you can remain anonymous. We're asking for your help in solving this crime.
If you know something, you don't have to leave your name. Just say what you know. Because if it ain't gonna stop with my son, they're gonna continue.
Not only did this family lose Deshaun, but they lost him on his birthday. Let's try to help this family. Let's bring justice to those who committed this crime. Police are looking for 2 black males. One was described as 5'9" to 5'11" tall, approximately 180 pounds, wearing a red and white striped shirt. The other was wearing a dark hooded sweatshirt. If you have any information that may help Cleveland homicide detectives, we need you to call Crime Stoppers. You will remain anonymous, and you will be eligible for a cash reward. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Crime Stoppers Case Files, where you are empowered to help clean up the streets. Remember, our towns and our neighborhoods are a direct reflection of what we allow them to be. So let's all do our part to make them safe. We'll see you next time for another edition of Crime Stoppers Case Files.